is CNN 10, and I'm Carl Azus. Wherever you're watching, thank you for taking the time for our show. Strictly defined, an echo chamber is a room where the walls reflect sound, giving it echoing sound effects. Figuratively defined, it's when someone surrounds himself with ideas like his own and doesn't get other perspectives on a specific idea or issue. This is what a lot of people have set up for themselves on social media, though some may not even know it or have intended to create their own echo chamber.
It's human nature. We surround ourselves with people we agree with. And the internet has only made it easier. For many, Twitter is a place to have existing views reinforced. Often without realizing it, a lot of us choose to live in an echo chamber, a place where it can seem like everyone on Earth is just like us. And Facebook? Well, Facebook takes it even further. Of course you can hide those posts from your goofy aunt, but Facebook actually does a lot of that work for you, behind the scenes. It knows what you like and what you comment on, what brands you follow, what ads grab your attention, events you're attending, and publications you read. Facebook uses all that data to feed its algorithms, and those algorithms choose what you see. And if you know where to look, you can actually see what Facebook thinks you like. Your interests, your hobbies, and even your political views. The result is what's become known as the filter bubble, where your timeline is filled with opinions you share. Facebook actually makes money off knowing those things. They sell you and your filtered bubble to advertisers. Those advertisers will pay more to get their products in front of people that are likely to buy them. And if you're seeing things you like, you'll spend more time on Facebook, seeing more ads, and making the company more money. But does the bubble keep us well informed? It's a tough question to answer, especially while the technology is still changing so fast. But one thing's for sure, that technology has the power to make us more connected or more isolated than ever.
Next, movie theaters. They've come a long way since simply showing the stars shine on the silver screen. Unfortunately for theaters, so has the home viewing experience, and that's probably part of the reason why theater ticket sales have dropped by 7% since 2009, according to CNNBC. So some theaters are turning to new technology to attract moviegoers. Seats that move, wind and water you can feel, scents you can smell. It's all part of what's called 4DX. It costs as much as $30 a ticket in some theaters. Will it fill the seats?
These days, when I watch a movie, it's usually on my couch and I've waited for it to come out on demand. But today, I decided to get off my couch and actually go to the movies for an experience you can really only get in theaters. And I'm not talking about 3D. Need to escape life for a few hours? The movies are an easy answer.
I'm gonna load up the car.
Okay.
And millions of people agree. The cinema brings in nearly $40 billion worldwide, but it's starting to face major competition from your couch.
Hi.
There's a shorter release time to video, which means you could be watching the latest blockbuster at home in just a couple months. And that quick release leads to piracy, which cuts into theater profits by nearly 15%. Water on, water off?
I think 4DX is the answer for preventing piracy because you can't really enjoy 4DX with your mobiles and with your TV sets in your home theater.
That's for sure. This is what it's like to experience a movie in 4DX. CJCGV is the company behind it. They're trying to help theaters get people out of their homes and back to the movies.
So in Jason Bourne, there are a lot of fight scenes where, you have a lot of hand-to-hand combat. And for those kinds of scenes, it's really cool to use your air shots. We like to put it in sync with those punches like that, so you feel like you're a part of the story.
The technology was created in South Korea, but it's now made its way to the US. Big theater companies like Regal and AMC are spending up to $2 million per theater to bring this experience to their audiences.
We've told you how different companies are testing out ways to use drones to deliver packages. That's something that's already being done illegally by smugglers. And one place it's causing problems is in prisons. Drugs, cell phones, other items prisoners aren't allowed to have. They're being snuck in, not just by visitors, but by air, with drone operators attaching items to the vehicles and then flying them over prison walls. The new technology is bringing new challenges for those in charge of monitoring everything that comes in or out.
At prisons throughout South Carolina, trees are being cut down and cleared. More guard towers are being built. And patrols have been added to bolster security beyond the razor wire fence. It's all because of these. Drones, a high-tech threat to prison security, delivering drugs and other contraband to prisons across America.
Prison officials say an inmate will coordinate with somebody on the outside, setting the date, the time, and the location of the drop. The inmate will then do counter surveillance, warning the drone operator if an officer's coming and the drop has to be made someplace else. The ability to access contraband, how much more power does that give to the inmates?
That gives them a lot of power. I mean, they're making a lot of money behind bars and dealing with contraband and the scams that they can run on the contraband cell phones.
Brian Sterling is the director of South Carolina's 22 prisons and detention centers. He says this is about 5 months worth of drugs, tobacco, cell phones, chargers, and other contraband smuggled in the old-fashioned way, hidden in things like books. Now, add drones.
I talked to a sheriff and he said, it was like Washington National. They were just around Christmas, the drones were coming in, dropping and going, dropping and going. And they had numbers on them and the numbers were corresponding to inmates and that's how they were getting in.
The problem has become so significant, lawmakers in the South Carolina Senate recently passed a bill making it a misdemeanor to fly drones within 500 feet of prison walls or 250 feet above the prison itself. The penalty is a $500 fine and 30 days in prison. Other states like Arizona, Oklahoma, Oregon, and Tennessee have or are considering similar legislation. The problem is not just in the U.S., but Europe as well. In London, an inmate here signaling his precise location to a drone operator. The British media also reporting drones may have been used to smuggle in wire-cutting tools used in a prison escape. Sterling says South Carolina is spending millions to secure its prison perimeters, making it harder for people smuggling contraband to hide. Several drone operators have been prosecuted and are now serving time.
We looked at shooting them down, but there's a lot of innate dangers there too. We feel like our hands are tied.
The drone assault is not likely to let up. Drone sales expected to surge from $2.5 million in 2016 to $7 million by 2020. Deborah Fayrick, CNN, Columbia, South Carolina.